Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lessons Learned, the podcast where we aim to turn our experiences into your wisdom. I'm Randy, here today with Chris, Jared, Joe, and Talon, and today we're going to be talking about comparing cultures, domestic and abroad. But Chris is going to help us dive deeper into that. Chris, go ahead and take us away.
What's up, guys? What a crazy week it's been. Ups and downs, emotional roller coaster for me, Joey as well. So we're here in New Jersey, me and Jared.
Yeah,
Randy's,
what's up?
Yeah, what's good? Randy's a few towns over. Me and Jared are on vacation, so we're mobile podcasting right now, so it's pretty cool. Got this whole setup on this ping pong table in Mikey Conti's basement. What's good, Mikey? He asked for a shout out,
Shout
so
out,
I gave
Mikey
it to
Conti.
him.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thanks
What a
for letting
guy.
us crash here, buddy.
Cheerio.
So, yeah, today, comparing cultures. Now, us in the military, so the four of us, minus Randy, we've been all over the world pretty much. Well, Joey hasn't left the
Not
country
me.
yet, but
Not me.
yeah, but he's been to a few states, so
I have.
So he's got that experience behind him. So
F's in the chat for Joe.
yeah, we're gonna talk about the the goods, the bads, what we believe we could learn as a country here, and like what I wish we had implemented. So with that, I'll hand it over to Talon to take us away and give us his thoughts on. I don't know. He's very into that Japanese culture and all of the Asian countries he loves. So go ahead and hear a little bit about that, Talon.
Yeah, so the reason why I love Asian countries so much is because they're so drastically different than the way we are in the West. So you can go to any of those countries and will handle their day-to-day lives completely differently than the way that we do. I haven't been to a whole lot of Asian countries, only Japan and Thailand. But, I mean, we've talked about Japan in the past before. The biggest takeaway for Japan is their hospitality and their just general want to make other people happy, it seems. And comparing that to here in, like, the United States, where everyone kind of just thinks about themselves. But in Japan, everyone's thinking about, like, the common good for everyone else. And then...
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked about it last episode, but I feel like this was a good second episode because the first one we talked about how we can I forget what your topic was. Do you remember what your lessons learned was?
Yeah, so my lessons learned was like what was it? It was
Wow.
yeah, I know,
I don't remember,
right?
but it tied into this. We got a lot going on like this week, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
But it tied into this as a good second episode, and so I'm not sure if we talked about how that guy, kind of stopped and helped you get back to your hotel when you were lost a little bit, and like didn't even think about it.
Oh, yeah, we did tell that story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was
If you want to hear that story, check out episode 1. But Talon, give us a brief version.
yeah, so it was basically being in Japan, completely lost, couldn't find our Airbnb, and this random dude drunk on his way home, probably after a long day at work and long night of drinking, he completely went out of his way just to take us, I think it was like 2 miles away to our Airbnb. Well, a bartender helped us, but he showed us to the bartender, but still, and like they just all went out of their way just to help us. But if you did that here in the United States, if you just like talk to some random person off the street and you're like, hey, I'm lost, I almost guarantee you a lot of them probably just walk by you and be like, it's not my problem, or they probably wouldn't even speak to you at all because they think that you'd be crazy or something.
right,
Yeah, dude,
if
totally.
you'd be lucky
Good
to
luck,
even
bro.
acknowledge you,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead, Randy.
I can kind of attest to that, especially even just from my traveling back home, and I'll talk more to it like when I get to my portion here. But even just like back here where I am, so in New Jersey, like the tri-state area, like New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, the people act so much different than even like other parts of the country. And like I just drove across the country out to Colorado and back, and like I really got to experience like a lot of how different people act in different areas. So I can definitely see where it might be like weird to people for you to come up and talk to them randomly, and I don't think it should be like that.
No, absolutely not.
no, I
Joe,
love
you
how
look like you had something to say.
I love how easy it is just to talk to people in the Midwest. Like, you can straight up have a conversation in the middle of the supermarket, and like they're the nicest people I've ever come across in the country so far.
Chris, when I was out there with you, remember the day you sent me to the store to pick up like eggs and shit?
Yeah.
Dude, the thing that I took away most from that trip to the store was that every single employee that I walked by like made a point to be like, "Oh, good morning, how are you today?"
Yeah, exactly.
Back home, the employees in the stores avoid you like the plague. And that
Yeah,
was
they put
before
their
the
head
plague
down and
actually
continue
hit.
on with their day.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like that little greeting can make a huge difference in someone's day. It's amazing.
Oh yeah,
It's just nice to hear.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a big deal or anything, and like my day would have gone on just fine if nobody had said anything, but it's kind of like, wow, like this is how people are really like.
Yeah. I mean, in all
Yeah.
honesty, what if
I
that
was driving a
person's
toll booth
what
up
if that
on
person's the
up
only
on
person you
to-
see
up
that
into
day?
Philly
Oh yeah.
on Route 1 in Delaware. And dude, I told Jared, I was like, yo, check this out. Like, we'll be lucky if these people even acknowledge us. They usually just stick their hand out and take my money.
And she was pretty nice. She was all right.
Actually, the guy that we had at the toll booth, Chris, when we were coming up from Delaware, that guy was pretty chill.
I don't remember.
Not a dick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
People in the
Not a
Midwest
bit.
are like, "What the fuck's a toll booth?"
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Actually.
you're right. I forgot about it. So I'm on my way to go pick up Jared, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot all about tolls. So I had to stop to Wawa, ask for cash back. They don't do cash back. Had to go to an ATM.
Oh no.
And I was like, shit, I don't have quarters. I need quarters too. So I stopped at Grandma's. He gave me a whole stack of quarters. Man, I was set. But like, just a hassle. I made to make two
Stacks
stops,
on
you know?
stacks on stacks.
Yeah.
Wait,
So it's
toll booths don't take card? Like you have to give them cash?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, fuck
cash,
no.
Cash
Well,
only.
you know,
That-
I've never
that's
tried
dumb.
with card. I'm pretty sure they would just ticket you if you don't have.
You
cash.
gotta keep things speeding along,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's cash only.
Yeah.
Dude, like just do touchless.
Usually,
like literally.
So here's the thing. Most of the toll booths, like, you're lucky if there's even a person. Like, a lot of the toll booths, you better have exact change that you can just toss in the dish or
Rip.
you're fucked.
But why even have toll booths? Why not just have like the cameras that like you get onto like the tollway? They just look at your license
So
plate.
that's called an easy pass.
Well, it's
bro
called Easy
beans.
Pass.
See,
That's-
you're a Midwestern tool that doesn't have to experience these tolls.
That
Tool
is
tolls.
also a thing. I do think we have to get back on topic here, but that is actually a thing called toll by plate, where they will take a picture of your license plate and then bill it to
Yeah,
your
good
house.
point, Joe.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's what they do in Colorado.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Joey's right. Back on topic. So,
Yeah.
all right. So here's something. You know what? Well, I'll kind of tie it in, right? So driving up to Philly to get Jared. How many cops I saw sitting on the side of the road just waiting to give speeding tickets, man?
Oh, it was
Drove me
brutal.
crazy. So I think my takeaway from different cultures, I'll talk about this a lot because I'm very passionate about it, is when we're in England, dude, even just Europe as a whole, driving, it's a godsend. It really is. There's no cops waiting to give you tickets, man. There's speeding cameras. Everyone knows where they are. They slow down for them. What a life that is.
Yeah.
Doing like 60 miles an hour on a back
Yeah.
road, dude. So nice.
Yeah.
And roundabouts everywhere.
Roundabouts. No stoplights. Traffic
Yeah.
just keeps flowing, man.
Yeah, that's really
Great.
nice.
People actually know how to drive. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
The
At
cop,
first
yeah,
I was
like you said-
nervous, but at first I was nervous about roundabouts. But you know, once you get used to them, they're so much better.
Yes.
It's not that bad.
No. There's the roundabout like courtesy where like if you're going on like the left part of it, you put on your turn signal. If you're just going straight, you don't turn on any turn signal. It's like you learn all those little things when you're over there.
Yeah, so now you come to Jersey, you're lucky if they even use their blinker to switch lanes.
Yeah.
And then
They're
they
like-
get over 3 or 4 lanes.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my exit's
Jersey
right.
slide.
Yeah, the Jersey slide. Oh, my
Jersey
exit's
slide,
right here.
bro.
Let me just go from
That's
left
what it's
lane
called.
to exit.
Oh my god.
Fucking straight up.
Yeah, it's so that's, you know, comparing cultures, like I wish the US would adopt driving like the way other countries do, because there's no need.
Except for Greece.
Oh yeah, Greece is
Driving in
terrible.
Greece is horrible,
Yeah,
bro.
they're a little crazy over there.
There aren't any cops anywhere.
There aren't
That's how
any
you're
rules
gonna
over
die.
there. But no, like, can you imagine if like the speed limits were basically whatever's you're comfortable with, you know what I mean? So like you're on a back road, why is it 25? Like there's not even houses around, you know? Just do like whatever you can do comfortably.
Yeah, like I understand it in like a residential area where, you know, there's kids and families, you know.
Right.
I get that because there is a very valid reason, you know, from like 25 to 35 you endanger killing someone, like a kid running out in the street. But if there's no houses around, like, shouldn't really be a thing.
No.
Right. And then
I also feel like the people around here are a lot more dumb.
yeah. Well,
It's
that's
in the
the
water.
problem is like we don't
That's part of the problem.
we don't put the effort into like, getting our actual license, you know? I forget what it is. I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I heard it takes almost 2 years to get a license in England. Like, that could be false, but I mean, people know how to drive. Like, they get over for you. There's a legit passing lane, and they follow that without any cops to enforce it. Like, it's so nice.
I believe Germany's
So
like that.
that is my
and it's also
biggest-
expensive.
Yeah, that's my most like envious trait of Europe. Like, I love that.
I want to go back, man.
Yeah, I do want to go back. Jared, what do you got with all our travels? What's something you take away from that we could learn and maybe implement here?
I have a lot of stuff, but one thing I'd like to go back to is, Talon mentioned the Asian culture. Well, one thing I noticed with this whole pandemic is, us Westerners have a hard time wearing masks, and it's a huge, big deal for everyone. And back in Japan, it's, that's normal. Like if you wake up in the morning with a cough and stuff, and you aren't feeling too hot, you'll put on your mask and get on the subway train, and it's normal to see people walking around with masks on.
Yeah, just not to infect everyone else because they're very courteous people. They're super nice.
Exactly. And
go ahead.
I think that's one thing that's one positive thing that us, our country as a whole, is going to adopt coming out of this. It's going to be pretty normal to wear masks.
Yeah. And I know we mentioned that in the first episode a little bit, but it's important to reiterate,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so there's
masks.
that, and then just Japan being so clean. Everyone practices good hygiene and just taking care of the streets, taking care of the environment and everything. You walk down the street in Japan, and it's kind of difficult to find a trash can. It surprised me at first, and I wasn't used to it.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, everyone carries around their trash.
Oh, well, the reason why there's no trash cans is because Japan actually had a couple bombings because the bombs were placed in trash cans. So the public, they actually got rid of trash cans. But it doesn't matter anyways because you're right. People just carry around their trash. They don't litter. Yes, there's not a trash can, but people aren't just gonna throw trash on the ground. They're not assholes like they are here, I guess.
Right.
Well, shit, that had a deeper meaning than I thought.
Yeah, there was a reason why there's no trash cans.
And another thing that I take away from Japan, the pride they take in everything they do.
Oh yeah.
No matter what it is, if it's making a burger or building a house, they will do their best job to it.
Or just sitting at a construction site, guiding traffic, the guy that's waving. There's literally a guy that's just standing there and waves at traffic, or he bows at traffic.
Yeah.
And he has a big smile on his face.
They take pride in
it's
absolutely everything they do. And that's probably from the Asian cultures, that's probably the biggest takeaway from me is just no matter what it is, man, give it your best shot. And I feel like
work ethic is a huge problem here.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
at least in countries like Japan, at least they also get paid decently. So even if in Japan, you go to a kombini, a convenience store, they're super nice to you and they put so much pride into that work. But at least people could work at a convenience store and they could retire there. Because they're getting paid enough to make a living. But if
Really?
yeah, but here you go to a 7-Eleven, they're making minimum wage. Of course they hate their lives. Of course they're not going to be happy. Of course they're not going to put that much effort into their work because their employer doesn't give a crap about them.
Right.
Yeah.
True. But even at my job and with a lot of the younger kids, I see these kids come in with an injury, right? And they're like, oh, I got to get better for my sport. But then, they no-show half the time or they show up late. And then when they're there, they spend half the time they're there on their phone. And it's okay, all you can keep talking about is getting back to your sport. But, you're putting no effort into getting yourself better.
Oh, yeah.
And, I see that so much. And even, the kids that I coach, too. It's you can tell the kids who are going to, go far and the kids who aren't because the kids who are going to go far work their asses off every day at practice. And the kids who aren't just kind of, screw around. And sometimes it's a shame because some of the kids are really talented, just raw talent, but then they don't work at it. And then there's other kids who aren't as good who end up being better ball players because they actually put in the hard work and the time. But it's just rare that you see that. The work ethic, just in general, in this country is fucking abysmal.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in places like Japan and most Asian countries, actually, their pride for their family is a big part of it too. Is because if they look bad, they know that their whole entire family looks bad. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
So here, everyone kind of acts as their own person, but in Asian culture, it's if you are representing your family. That's also why in most of those countries, when you're talking to someone, you talk to them by their last name, by their family name. You don't speak to them in their first name because they are representing their family. So if they are doing something dishonorable to themselves, they are dishonoring their family.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your family.
Yeah. Actually, that explains a lot.
Dishonor on your
I
cow.
don't think we could say that.
What's that from?
Mulan.
Cut.
That's from Mulan.
Oh.
No, we can quote that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but no, it's. I told you guys, Talon's a little researched on this. Researched, is that a word?
He's well versed.
He's-
Oh, I agree
well-versed.
with what he's saying.
Yeah, I told you guys a lot to know. Wow, I can't talk right now.
It's okay. We'll give you a pass.
Thanks.
Just this
Yeah.
once, buddy. It
Yeah,
was a rough
just
night.
one.
It was a rough night, you know. It was a fun night, but it was a rough night.
It was a little rough.
It was good. So Joey, let's hear a little bit about your experiences. You know, because you grew up Jersey and Delaware, and you moved to what, 2 different states, and boom, back home.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you've experienced some of the military.
Yeah,
Been around
so-
a lot of different people.
I
Yeah, let's hear
I
about
have.
those 2
Yeah.
states you've been to, and then maybe some friends from all over the country that you have now.
All right. Well, before I dive into that real quick, I do want to just touch up real quick back on Japan. Is I believe if you look up the statistics, how you guys were talking about how they take pride in everything they do, I believe Japanese people in the United States are actually the highest income percentage ethnic group in the United States. I believe,
Oh,
like,
snap.
yeah, I think like
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, I believe they're at the top, or at least very near the top. I think just
Yeah.
Asian in general is like at the top of highest paid percentage people.
Yeah, I can see that. And honestly, real fast. So personally, I want to move to Japan, but I know for a fact if I move to Japan, I'm gonna get paid like shit because I know I cannot compete with the local Japanese when it comes to like work ethic and everything. So I'm like, either I go to Japan on my own dime and like somehow living off my own money or something without an employer over there, or like I go on the government, like the U.S. government's dime or something, because I cannot compete over there.
Yeah.
The wicked smart.
Very,
Smack
very
pack.
smart.
All right, so now going back into what I was my experience, I guess. So yeah, no, I mean, I've lived in Jersey when I was young. I mean, I think we moved when I was 11, so I really didn't get to know too much. Obviously, I grew up knowing that Jersey people were a bit of assholes, but then moving down to Delaware, at least where I live in Delaware, Dover, it's really not much different. People are a bit of dicks. You kind of go down to the beach area and they're a bit nicer, but Dover itself, not nice people. But since I joined the Air Force, I mean, you meet people from all across the country, and I've met some of the nicest people. And it's normally for me like I guess the people I kind of drift to the most are Southern people because they're actually very friendly. I mean, I was down in Texas for basic training, and then I stayed there for more technical training, and then I went to Charleston, South Carolina for 2 months there. And the Southern hospitality is a real thing. Everyone there is super, super nice for the most part. And, oh yeah. And I say it all the time, like, I wish I could go back to Charleston. The people there are great. It was a very fun time. It's just... It's the people I like the most, at least out of the states. Again, I haven't been out of the country like the rest of these guys, but the Southern hospitality, I love it.
Something
Yeah, it's a good
I
Southern
wanna
hospital.
experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
I have a lot
definitely
of
attest to that too.
Go ahead, Randy.
I was gonna say, I mean, I'll talk about it more when we get to me, but I can definitely attest to that too, and especially from being kind of same general area you are. So agreed, 100%.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I remember when I first got to Omaha, a lot of my friends, all of my friends, were from the South, and it was just awesome, like seeing how they act and how they go out and present themselves and carry themselves. It's very interesting. They'll be the first people to strike up conversations, wave at people, like go out of their way for people. Not as much necessarily as other countries, but coming from Jersey where like that just doesn't happen most of the time, it was very refreshing.
Yeah, they're always fun people to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're easy to talk to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Plus,
Very.
the accents are awesome.
Yeah, they
yeah,
are.
for sure.
I think it's one of those things where like they could actually like hate you and where you're from, but they will still be very civil and
Oh
friendly
yeah,
to
I got called the Yankee like every single day, but you know what? They'd also be the first people to have my back in a bar fight. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And there's great people. Again, like all my friends, like I always drift towards the southern country people. They're just always
yeah,
some of
very
my best
helpful,
friends.
very kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
right. So That's the majority of your experiences, Joe. Or you got anything else to talk
That's
about
really
that?
that's unfortunately all I could really speak on. Just not being
Well, I
out of
mean,
the
yeah,
country.
you'll get out of here. Don't worry. You'll travel.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah.
and Joe, real fast, I pulled up the statistics. So the highest paid ethnic group in the United States is actually from Indian ancestry, and then
That also makes sense.
Taiwanese, Filipino, Australian. Japan is actually all the way
Really?
down at number 8.
Oh, good job, Joe.
see, I
Top of the
lied.
list.
Oh man,
You got top 10.
liar.
Hey, guess
Bug
what?
facts.
Guess what? Where is India? Where is India? Asia.
Bug
That's right. Shut up.
Yeah, you were right.
Anyway, all right, Randy, let's hear a little bit. I mean, you just traveled across the country. Tell us a little bit
I
about
did.
that, what you learned.
So that was a phenomenal experience. So let me just start off by saying so I drove, right? I had a bunch of stops along the way, which was cool. I got to
Big
stop
rips.
and see Chris and Jared and Talon. Got to see my brother in Indiana. But so one of my biggest takeaways,
India?
I was in Nanner.
In the banana. In the banana.
In Banana. The thing that I found most was I was very apprehensive about driving across the country, mainly because of how shitty highway driving is around here. So I was going out through, I got basically through Columbus, Ohio. Jared, I'm sure you're very familiar.
Yep.
Yup, Jared's from Ohio. Oi, shout out. So as I got through there, that's when I started to notice things like start to open up, and it's pretty crazy because like Route 80 is only 2 lanes once you get out through there, but all through kind of like Illinois, Iowa, into Nebraska, through there and into Colorado, everything was so open, and like, you know, there were times where the closest car in front of me was a mile ahead and the closest behind was a mile behind, and like you just kind of sit and chill. So that was a pretty cool experience to like. Oh, and everybody kind of knows how to drive a lot better out there than around here. Like if you
Yeah,
come up
man.
on somebody, they'll get the fuck out of the way.
It's
Well,
those flyover farm states, man.
Yeah.
yeah, when there's nothing in sight,
Wide
not even
open.
a cow, not a tree, not
Yeah.
a cow, just grass and open sky.
And a lot of windmills.
Yeah.
A lot of
So that was
windmills.
cool.
lot of
But yeah, I mean, takeaways as far as the people go, definitely a much different breed than back here. One thing I noticed, especially like, so Colorado Springs, that's where I stayed in Colorado, is the least obese city in the entire country.
I feel like we need to do a fact check here. Bug facts. Let's go. T.
facts.
Money.
T-Lon, pick it up.
T.
So,
Musk.
keep
As
talking.
Randy continues.
So, but like that was one thing. But everybody's fit out there because like all you do is hike and like, you know, run and exercise and bike. And there's so many places to do it. Like you could do a different hike every day of the year and not do all of them. So it was really cool. Like it was a lot of like, and I feel like just in general the people are nicer and like because they feel better. Like I noticed that like when I'm in
They're
better
also
shape.
probably all stoned out of their mind.
Well, that's also true too. Very much so. But you know, like that was just like again, like I know it's a really simple thing, but like the biggest takeaway for me was, you know, you could go out to a place and talk to somebody and like they'll talk to you, and people in the stores aren't, you know, dicks to you and, you know, shit like that. But I would say, kind of getting off of that, my bigger experience with travel was more when I was playing baseball in college, because we traveled around pretty much all over the East Coast. So we traveled down to the southern states a lot, and one thing we would do every single year was we would go to South Carolina for like a week and a half and play a bunch of games down there. And we would play teams from all over the country and stuff, but one thing I noticed, like that was my first experience kind of like with people outside of like the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area. And, you know, the first thing I noticed was how just nice everybody was, and, you know, how willing to be helpful. And like, even when you played other teams, like the other teams were kind of, you know, they weren't like trying to get in fucking fights and shit. You know, we had that a couple times up back home. And, I just kind of, I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, I understand it's more fast paced and everything here, but I just don't understand why people have to act
the
like
hostility.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And it just annoys me. Like, it annoys me that you can't, like, you know, as simple as, you know, saying hi or like saying thank you when somebody holds the door. Like, why is that such a big fucking deal?
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Yeah, I
again,
think it's just how you're raised, man.
yeah. And just like people up here in general, it's like they're just miserable.
You
And,
know
like,
what
it
really
kinda
important,
makes-
though?
miserable. They're taxed out of their mind.
Well, yeah. I mean, political issues aside,
Yeah.
but you know, it's just like people around here are miserable, and like when you go, you know, the other places that I've been in the country, again, mostly the South and the Midwest now that, you know, from traveling through there, it's just like, it's crazy how much different people act.
Yeah. Coming back, like once again, I'll talk about it. Driving up to Jersey, we drove through Philly on 495, right? And you know, I was driving aggressive. You have to, right? I got cut off a
You
bunch
have
of
to.
times. I was like, "Yo, Jared, check this out." So the amount of fingers I flipped, bro, and the little small pecker symbol with your index finger and your thumb. Like, nice one, boy, dude. I must have dropped about 10 of those bad boys.
Small
I almost-
pecker symbol. I have to
Yeah.
look this up now.
No, I don't. I mean, good. I don't know if you can look it up. Maybe on like fucking Urban Dictionary, but you know, just like you're like
How you
Like
hold
a
your
pinch.
index finger and your thumb up like next to
Yeah.
your eye to express how small something is.
yeah. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Dude,
okay.
like,
There
Like you do
go.
that
oh, you
with
just
a
cut me
smug
off. You got a
face.
small dick, don't you, buddy?
Just look at
Bro,
the person.
I kind of enjoyed coming back. You know, with that experience again. Like my middle finger was a little weak, and I got some muscle back in.
He was in his element.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it sucks, but it's nice at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy, real fast. I looked up your little statistics. So it's not Colorado Springs. It is
Wrong.
It is Boulder, Colorado,
Oh, all right.
obesity-
He's
Close.
close.
with an
You're close.
obesity rate of 11.7%.
Damn.
Lowest
Hey,
in the
you know,
country.
That's close.
Yep.
That's close. I'll give it to him.
Damn.
I
was only, like,
think
what?
It's,
50 miles off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
something
bad.
like
That's fine.
you think with all the munchies they got going on out there, that'd be a little higher.
Well, that's
Yeah,
also
but,
a
like-
college town,
A
so
little
like the
higher.
overall age is lower.
But also, like, when you think about it, though, like, just in general, generally speaking, and I know, again, I noticed this, there were no fat people like we have here. I mean, there were very few. Everybody's fucking fat here.
Well, actually, interesting
some
fact right
offense.
here. Bug fact.
Bug facts.
Yeah. Denver is the only metropolitan, large metropolitan area that has an obesity rate lower than 15% in the entire nation.
Yeah.
Damn.
And when you think about
Wow.
it, though, like, just look at all the activity they have out there. They have, like, so much stuff you can do all the time, like outdoor kind of stuff, like hiking and biking and running. Like, there's so many places to do it. And like I said just a few minutes ago, you can do a different hike every single day if you wanted to, and you wouldn't even come close to doing all of them.
Yeah, there's just so many outdoor activities to do out there. So much room for activities.
So maybe that's more like regional than cultural.
I mean, yeah, and a
'cause-
lot of my stuff, I would say, from my experiences, is regional because, you know, again, I haven't really gone out of the country too much, but I think it's a similar takeaway.
Is that not cultural though? Like, because your region affects your culture. Like, you can have I mean, me being from Colorado, like, I would consider that my culture. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in a
Yeah,
way,
I
but
agree
you
with
can't
that.
you can't just like talk to Nebraskans and be like, "Hey, go do a bunch of hikes."
yeah,
Okay, we have nothing to hike. I'll walk down the highway.
yeah,
That's what
that,
I'll
that
do.
is true.
That's true. That's a good point.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you got like a lot of the Asian culture, like there aren't many bodybuilders in their culture because it's not appealing. And then you have like Icelandic men and women who are like just giants of people. They're
Yeah.
like some of the biggest people on earth.
Scandinavians too, man. I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
I don't know if Icelandic is considered. I don't think it's considered.
No, it is
Scandinavia, But yeah, dude.
But yeah, no,
I mean,
that's a fair point.
when I was in Norway, dude, I didn't. Now that I think about it, I didn't see any fat people either in Norway.
No.
Probably because they're all so cold. They're burning all the fat, you know.
Yeah.
Their metabolism is insane.
Well,
Yeah,
again,
they
I think
have
this,
to.
and this is another one you could probably look up, Talon, but I think they're up there on like one of the lowest obesity rates in the country, or I mean in
Oh,
the
yeah, I'm
world,
sure.
in the world. But yeah, so I mean, like my takeaways from the whole thing is, and especially again, if you're from the Northeast where things are the way they are, definitely travel as much as you can. Because you'll you're
Oh,
really
yeah.
gonna get to and again, even if it's just within the country, like you'll be surprised at
mean-
what you find.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's what Chris and I are doing.
yeah.
I've
So-
never I've only been to like South Carolina before. I've never been this far east,
Yeah,
and we're just hitting up a bunch of new places. I haven't been to any of these places before, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if the people suck.
Sorry for looking up more and more facts, but Japan
facts.
actually has the lowest
facts.
obesity rate out of every country in the entire world.
That makes
They
sense. All they
eat
eat is
that
rice.
much. Yeah. Rice and fish.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
have other
Yeah,
health
dude.
effects though.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of, let's go to a little bit of food, man.
Food
Oh
facts.
my God,
I love
Japan's
food.
food.
Food
Cultural
everywhere, bro.
differences when it comes to food, like the healthiness of it. Is that the healthiness?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's like
Not-
fresh. You know,
It's healthy food that doesn't taste like shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I believe
Now,
a
that's
lot
why
to
the
learn here.
I believe that's why the Northeast is like really obese, is because you know how we always say that they're extremely fast paced, always have something to do.
Yeah, because
someplace
and you
to
just go to
be.
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get something quick, like you're
Yep.
waking up making like a Jimmy Dean breakfast thing,
Yep.
and then you go to McDonald's, Taco Bell. Yeah, that's probably it.
That's
Well,
definitely a
our
big part
health
of it.
standards are also a lot worse here. So like, yes, you can go
Oh,
eat
yeah.
something fast like that, but at the same time, once again, you go to like an Asian country, like their health standards are so much better. You go to like McDonald's, you're getting a significantly healthier meal than you would if you were back here in the United States eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I've definitely
Dude,
heard
definitely.
that before from
Um,
multiple people.
And I have an example for this. Like, everything's getting bigger, like fast food
That's what she
wise. Like,
said.
it's just the U.S. needs more and then more and more. And I actually got fast food, Taco John's, with Rachel the other day, and she got a small drink and I got a medium drink, and I looked at the cup holder and I was like, wait, I didn't get a large, and she's like, that's your medium.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, and this literally looked.
It's
it
a
was-
fucking
it was
goblet.
huge. It's
Yeah,
like
they're
what 24 more ounces, and that's
Yeah.
a medium.
That's
That's
like
ridiculous,
400
man.
calories right there.
Yeah.
And just
That's
like one
ridiculous.
Let's go.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
That's
in
insane.
Japan, their large is the same as our small here in the United States,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you also do not get free refills. Like when you go to like restaurants and you get like soda or something like that, you do not get free refills.
All right, so the one bad thing I didn't like, granted I've only been to Okinawa, the water, dude. I down water, and they gave me this little cup, bro, like little baby cup of water.
Yeah,
everywhere
I don't get that, to be honest.
That is pretty
That's-
normal, I think. Yeah,
It's
it's
so
weird.
hot there. Like, give me a gallon of water, please. I'm gonna destroy it.
Like literally, it's a little like sippy cup.
Yeah, dude.
you just have to. Yeah, you constantly have to refill it.
Yeah, I feel bad, you know? Like, they're so polite. They don't really care, but, like, hey, I need more water, you know? Especially when I'm eating curry down there and my mouth's on fire, my bowels are about to explode, and I'm just trying to...
Yeah,
Oh, man. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one bad thing that... At least America's got that right? Free water wherever you go. I know some places, like, we were in the Middle East, and, yeah, they charge for water sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Well, not sometimes,
Well, is it
all
more
the time.
scarce there though?
I mean, they're kind of rich, so...
yeah.
Freaking rich.
I mean, in Europe
Depending
they
on
charge
the
for
part.
water too. You
Yeah.
go get a meal in like France or Italy or something like that. You're paying by the bottle because you don't get like tap water. You have to get like, well, actually no, they give you bottles, and a lot of the time it's just bottles filled with tap water. But
So
still,
actually,
Gross.
watching that show with Zac Efron,
Down to earth.
Down to Earth, yeah. France has like these free water stations
Oh,
throughout
dude,
the country, dude.
That looks so
And
cool.
they have seltzer water. They have seltzer water on tap, like free.
Yeah.
It's the cleanest water. Yeah, dude, watch that show. If you all haven't watched that show, please watch it. Like, I've learned so much from it.
That looked really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just walk down the street and there's like a fresh water station.
Yeah, dude.
Because apparently it was a big deal, so they solved it by putting all those stations everywhere around the city.
Yeah.
wow.
And I'm actually, so speaking on this nutrient section of cultures, I'm actually reading his book. I forget what it's called. Super Life, I think it is. From that show, that guy Darren. He was talking about, the last chapter I read yesterday, he was talking about, what's that spice they use in curry, Talon? Do you know? Is it turmeric or something like that?
I mean,
I think it's-
could
I think
just be
that's
curry. Like
accurate.
curry is a spice.
Well, they throw it in there. I think it's turmeric is what it was. I can fact check, bug facts. but, you know,
Turmeric has a
whatever.
lot of health benefits. So that
Yeah,
could
and
be.
that's what I was reading. Like that, the Indian culture, that's what they use a lot. And he was talking about, I think it's like a natural anti-inflammatory.
It
Like
is.
all these all these benefits of this one spice, like we don't use that,
No.
and like there's eating natural and raw veggies and just like stuff that's found in nature. From reading this book and watching that show, like I'm really doing a lot of research and it's really interesting to me now. So I'm trying to live like a healthier lifestyle because of that, and like I feel a million times better. And I feel like our country is just, a little stubborn. People are a little hesitant because I can just go down the road and get McDonald's.
Yeah, I had Taco Bell
Yeah.
last night.
That's a big problem.
You had Taco Bell last night. You had Panda for lunch, you nitwit.
Dude,
God.
jeez.
Why?
Panda.
Quick question: why do Americans hate vegetables so much? Like,
I love
what is up with
vegetables.
that? Vegetables
know,
are the
man.
greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
They really are. I don't know, man.
Actually, so like that's
It's
one
like
thing.
we just love potatoes, corn, and meat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I have done a lot of
But,
research on.
dude, food is a major thing.
Yeah. I've done a lot of research on like the healthy eating, especially like within the last year or so. And actually, over the last year, I've lost 20 pounds.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
Damn, you were a big chungus, weren't you?
I know, right? Oh, dude, I'll send you the
Big
picture
skipper.
from when I was on the cruise a couple years ago. I was a fat boy. And like you don't even realize that a lot of times when it's happening, like, because I was always like super skinny growing up, and then I got like fat, and when I got fat, it was bad. But
Yeah.
I did a lot of research on this, and I'm not going to get into the details of like the research I did, but it's huge. Like a lot of the stuff you were just talking about, and a lot of like the spices you can use that'll help like with health benefits, and just like eating the right things, and like knowing what you're eating and knowing how to eat things the right way too is like, and I'm not saying like how you fucking put it in your mouth, like how to prepare things a certain way, and what to eat, what not to eat. And then one thing that I'm actually doing it currently, and I'm dying at the moment, intermittent fasting.
Dude,
I thought you were about to say juice cleanse. I was about to,
Juice
I was about to
cleanse.
smack you.
No.
I can't get on board with intermittent fasting, dude. It seems unnatural.
Well, all right.
to
So
me.
here's
I did it naturally.
so
That's
here's
just how my body works.
here's the thing with intermittent. I don't necessarily like it like as a daily thing to do. I only do it like once a week. But when I do it, when you do
Doesn't
it
that
like
defeat
that,
the whole purpose.
no, because
no, you can do it.
so like a big part of intermittent fasting is cleaning out your gut. So what happens is like if you go like an 18 or 20 hour period where you don't eat, it will your body will naturally clean it. Like there's folds in your stomach. And then like food and crap gets caught up. So like you have food like stuck in the folds in your stomach that's been there for weeks. So what happens
Like
like if
your rolls, like when you sit down and you stand up and you realize you had a Cheeto in your roll.
Nah, fam.
Talking about that kind of fold?
Nah, fam. No, in like
Cheeto.
your actual physical stomach.
I'm just messing.
I know. You're
Yeah,
an idiot.
it's
But what happens when you
intermittent
when you do intermittent fasting like that is it cleans out those folds, and like you really like detox, and you only have to do that like once a week. You don't have it's not something you have to do every single day. People can use it for weight loss. I don't really agree with that, especially for people like in my profession where I have to do a lot of physical activity. I can't do it every day, but I do it like once a week, and it really like that was a big part of my weight loss was just like getting the crap out of my system.
Literally.
Yeah, some people look at it as a thing to do to lose weight. I see it more as a tool.
Yeah.
It's a nice tool that you can use to kind of fit your lifestyle if you have a busy lifestyle and you don't want to eat until later in the day, or if you only want to eat, 1 or 2 meals in that day.
Exactly.
Then that'll just naturally make you eat a smaller portion and less food. And yeah, I like what you mentioned about the whole cleaning out your gut thing.
Yeah.
Actually, there's science to show that intermittent fasting is one of the most anti-cancerous things you can do for your body.
Yep, because you get out the
'Cause-
garbage.
Yeah, once you hit like 16 or more hours, it's different for everyone, but your body starts to kill off.
I think
and
14
get rid of
is the minimum.
dead cells in the body.
Yeah, 14 is the
And
minimum.
you have, and the reason it's anti-cancerous is because the cells in your body that become cancer cells are the ones that are kind of close to dying, and they like mutate in a way, and it's those high risk cells that once you start fasting and you reach a prolonged fast, then your body will just start killing
Getting
those
rid
off.
of them, yeah. So
Yeah, and I think to tie this back into the topic, this is another thing he was talking about in that chapter that I was reading yesterday, is that Americans are very, they treat with medicine first,
Yeah.
instead of fixing their diet. Medicine, he says, should be the last thing that we
Yeah.
use, and that makes sense. Like, try and go for like an all natural solution,
Right.
and cure the problem instead of masking it.
Yeah. And what I was going to
Yeah.
say to circle it back in, though, is I feel like we would have less of those problems with, like, again, like I was saying, to use intermittent fasting for, if we ate better foods in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
other
it's
countries
just
do.
too-
Boom, brought it back home, bitch.
Well, I have a quick question because Chris, you just mentioned that we don't really like think about natural solutions. Do you think it's because our country's so young, so we don't have like those traditions kind of like built in? Because like
No,
even like you go to like Europe and stuff like that, like those countries have been around for like centuries and millennia and stuff like that.
It's about money.
They could have like they could have those like ancient like natural techniques for when it comes to health, but here in the United States, it's like we were at that point where we already had medicine when the country was kind of here. Like
Let me answer your question with a question. What does it matter? We can just take notes from other countries and implement it here.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, of course.
I can.
I was wondering where the culture came from.
Oh no,
to
I
begin
can.
with,
I
though.
can
That's a good
answer this
point.
from a healthcare perspective. Why do you want? Why
Go
do?
ahead, Dr. Oz.
Why as a doctor do I want you, or not necessarily as a doctor, but like insurance or doctors or big pharma or whatever? Why would I want you to take medicine? Because I'm going to make a shitload of money off it. That's why. That's why I don't want you to use
yeah,
the
brother,
natural solutions
there's a
first,
pill
because
for
you got to
every ill.
fucking pay me for that pill. You got to pay me for your insulin. You got to pay me for your cancer treatment. You got to pay me for stuff. I'm making money off of you having to take medicine. That's why I
Right.
don't want you to do your natural
actually,
solutions.
That's a good topic, bro, because other countries, medicine is so cheap, right, Talon? You got sick
Hell
over
yeah.
there.
Hell
so let's
yeah.
talk about that a little bit.
Oh, dude, on my way back from Thailand, I don't know. Maybe it's because I drank their water and I got a little sick from it or something like that. But on my way back, I landed in Korea. I got put into quarantine. And,
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Like they literally just like you walk through, like check your temperature and stuff like that. But just like you walk through there, and they're like, okay, you go to like the pharmacist, and like their pharmacies, you actually have to talk to a real pharmacist. Only the actual pharmacist can actually tell you what to have, and like they can only give it to you. Like the farm techs can't do anything. But the pharmacist is like, here's like 5 boxes of medicine. Here's a bag of like masks for you, so you can wear it on the plane and everything. And that'll be $1. It was $1. It was.
I got you $1.
And, yeah, and like those like boxes of medicine lasted me for like a month, and it's like I guarantee you, like back here, like those probably would have been like $20 each, if that, like probably more
Oh,
actually.
dude, I bet you would have spent about $100, if not more than that.
Yeah, because
For
those
sure.
are probably considered like prescription medicine and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so like medicine and like, I mean, granted, I just said we shouldn't use it. We should use it as a last resort. However, when we do need it, it's so expensive here compared to other countries and other cultures.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But like you look at Canada and their health system, it's you don't have to pay for healthcare, right? But you have like ridiculously long waiting times. Like you'll be sitting in the waiting room for 8 hours for like a cold or whatever.
Yeah.
And here, decrease wait times, and I don't know. I think it balances out. There are some things that could be changed, but
Yeah,
I think we should
it's
have
the same as UK.
Personally,
as well.
I think we should have a socialized health insurance to some degree, because that's what countries like Korea and Japan does. Like in Japan, yes, you actually do have to still pay for health insurance. Normally, it's around like $40 to $50 a month, but they don't have those issues of like wait times or anything like that. But it's still extremely cheap, and you get great health care. So like I
can you
think it's a
explain-
good balance.
Can you explain for idiots like me what socialized healthcare is?
So it's basically like socialized healthcare. So everyone kind of pays into the system. Like everyone in the country pays into this one system. There wouldn't be individual health insurance companies.
Right, so
It'd
like
be
what-
pretty much,
What Obama tried to do, right? And there was so much
yeah, like
pushback on it.
Obamacare and stuff like that. A socialized healthcare system. So like everyone pays for everyone else's healthcare to some degree.
I
Yeah,
don't.
and
I
agree.
personally
I
don't
think
believe.
that's a,
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Joe.
personally don't believe in it, but you can go ahead, Chris.
Oh,
No, I think it's a great thing because it works in other countries so well. And I mean, there's rumors. You always hear rumors, but you've never been to that country with an ailment. and like seeing how long you need to wait. You just hear about it.
I think the
And I feel like
problem,
that's the problem.
I think the bigger problem is, and again, so I'm on the fence of this because I kind of like I fall a little bit on both sides. I fall on the side of I think it's a better system. I do. But I also don't think it would work here just because everything is so set in its ways and there's so much money in it. And like, again, like to kind of circle back to what we said before, that's part of the problem is like, it's so much about money and like, it's so much about money here that it would never work because there would be such a loss in money in the healthcare industry if we were to do it that way. I think it would take years and years and years and years to be able to actually like, be able to come up with something to implement that. Like, it's not something that any president can do in a 4 or even 8 year term. Like, I think it's something that would have to be, again, a cultural change overall.
Well, and that's the whole point of this podcast is to highlight the areas where like we all believe could change for the better. You know, we're not going to obviously recommend change for worsening this country. We want to make a better place, and you know, a world as a whole, we want to make better. And I feel like I don't know why we're so stubborn as a nation. Like, learn from these countries that are doing it and thriving, you know?
That's because America #1. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we think that we're the best country in the world. Majority of the population doesn't leave the country, so no one really cares what other countries do. So we're not going to learn from it.
Yeah. I mean, I can say, so my, and this kind of it ties in a little bit, but like my one experience with leaving the country. So I went on a cruise a couple years ago. We went to a bunch of different places, but the one that stuck in my mind the most was Belize. And Belize is like a true third world country. And it was really eye-opening for me in the sense that it made me really thankful for where I live because, you know, we're driving through the city because we were going on a cave tubing trip, which was really cool. But when we went through the city, like we drove by this hotel and they're like, oh, this is a 5-star hotel. And I'm like, that's an abandoned building. Like it had, you know, boards on the windows and shit. And like, you know, it made me really appreciate where I live because it could be a hell of a lot worse. And I'm also sure there's places that, you know, you could go that would be better. So again, like I said before, I really encourage people to travel, whether it is within the country or even outside of the country, because it gives you a different perspective.
That's a good point. We talked about a lot of how we can make a better country here, but we also have to think about and appreciate the little things that we have it a lot better than most of the rest of the world, you know. So yeah, we can learn a lot from other countries, and at the same time they can learn a lot from us. Like, I'm not saying America's bad. I'm saying we have areas where we can improve.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like we discussed a lot about that today. You know, we talked about the cultural differences, we talked about food, healthcare, the politeness of people, even within our own country, how it varies. And so I feel like taking all this into consideration, we could all do our little part each day and try and improve our country as a whole. And, you know, eventually that can transform the world.
All right, guys, this has been Lessons Learned. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and go follow our other social media pages linked in the description. From all of us here at Lessons Learned, have a good day and see ya!